What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Poke Office. My name is Colin. As the video title suggests, we're headed for an inevitable ruin in the Pokemon hobby. Now, I don't think that the Pokemon hobby is actually going anywhere. I actually think it is thriving more than people realize. It's my personal opinion. But I just had to shout out my favorite book series. It's called Dungeon Crawler Carl. This is book number 7. It's called This Inevitable Ruin. And I mean, I just love the book series so much. I've read it a few times. The audiobooks are fantastic. Anyways, there's a quote from it that I kind of just thought is true about the Pokemon hobby right now with some news that I'm about to share. Carl is talking to his cat Donut, and he says, "It's going to get worse before it gets better. We're going to lose more friends. We're going to have to do some pretty horrible things just to survive." Now, they're talking about a dungeon that they're trying to actually literally survive in. I'm talking about Pokemon cards. But I just got an email earlier this week that one of the stores that I've bought from a few times, it's located in Ontario, Canada, and they're closing their doors shortly. I think this is going to start happening. Probably already has started, but it's going to continue happening more and more because the Pokemon market is just, it's really crazy right now. It is unrelenting. So this is the discussion, and I don't really know where it's going to go, so it might just be me blabbing. But more and more, the economy starts to get harder and harder and harder. People have bills to pay. People have employees to pay. People have themselves to look after. And so unless you're one of the huge stores, like, how do you make it in the Pokemon space? And I know stores offer more than just Pokemon, but right now Pokemon is on such a heater that you've got to expect that lots of their, like, a typical store sales is coming from Pokemon. Am I right? Like, yeah, you got Magic. That's a real cash cow for sure. You know, One Piece, which does okay. There's Flesh and Blood. There's Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm going to miss a few, but Pokemon is one of the drivers of people right now. And when stores with these different allocations are only getting a couple boxes, or maybe you're a bigger store and you get a couple cases, or maybe you're an actual, like, medium-sized store and you get quite a few cases, like 100 cases. There's not, especially for the lower end stores, there's not a lot of money to go around that pays your bills. Like, let's just pretend that when Destined Rivals comes out, a medium-sized store gets 5 cases of Destined Rivals, and they pay, I'm going to talk in Canadian dollars because that's what I know, they're going to pay $180 Canadian for these boxes. Because unless it changes for Destined Rivals, we're still dealing with tariffs as well, which happen to journey together. That's where I'm getting that $180 price from. And so they get 5 and 5 times, or 6 boxes per case, so they're getting 30. Now, I need to do a little calculation here. So 30, get my calculator, 30 booster boxes times 180. They're paying $5,400. Now, they're going to sell those for market price, and Destined Rivals, let's be honest, let's call a spade a spade. Destined Rivals is going to be a $200 to $300 Canadian, maybe even $350 Canadian booster box right out of the gate. So they're going to sell those 30 times 300. They're going to make $9,000 minus the $5,400 they spent. That's $3,600 in profit. I know stores that are only getting like 1 case. And I know stores that are getting less than a case, like literal just booster boxes. So if you got 5 cases of Destined Rivals, you're slated to make $3,600. That's not even enough to pay 1 month of rent. Like, you got to do some serious digging and work to scrape together enough money to pay your employees, to pay yourself, and to pay the rent. So it's no wonder. Like, that's why I actually titled this video, It's an Inevitable Ruin. Meaning, the definition from Dungeon Crawler Carl is like, you already know, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. It's going to happen. You're on the road to ruin, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. So what do you do? And who's to blame? I mean, there's lots of blame on YouTube going on right now. You could blame, there's lots of people talking about how Ace Hardware is having Pokemon cards, Home Depot's having Pokemon cards, some other weird stores are having Pokemon cards in stock. Yeah, that's kind of weird because, I mean, why do you need Pokemon at a hardware store? But they're all in it to make money as well. Then there's some blame coming around to the rip and shippers, so I would be included in that list. And yeah, they get a ton of product and they sell it for overpriced stuff, and yeah, that's totally fair. But the demand is what we'll talk about soon. Demand in Pokemon right now is so incredibly high that people are buying it for those prices. Like, so complain all you want, and I've said it multiple times, I don't like the prices where they're at either, but that's the market price. There's a reason there's a market price. It's not just because people fake a market price. You can't fake a market price. People are buying it at the market price. The other thing is that there's people like me legitimately trying to start a Pokemon business, and I just got a distributor account back in September, October. So Surging Sparks was my first one, and I'm vying for some extra product each time. I'm vying for more allocation. So other people on YouTube I've watched have talked about this. Pokiani has talked about it. Alpha Investments has talked about it. Danny Phantom has talked about it. Now, a year ago, 2 years ago, let's just pretend there was 10 stores with a distributor. The distributor got 100 booster boxes of product, and each store gets 10. It's pretty easy math. And I know that's like a very simplified version of what is happening, but it's a good indication. Now, all of a sudden, new stores sign on, Ace Hardware signs on, the Poke Office signs on, and now there's 100 stores vying for that 100 booster boxes worth of product, and each store gets one booster box. So still the same amount of allocation, or the same amount of product being allocated, but they have to please a lot more of the distributor's customers, and that seems to be what's happening. There's a lot of Prismatic Evolution out there. There's a lot of Surging Sparks out there. There's a lot of Destined Rivals going to be printed. But are you going to get your hands on it at a good price? Probably not, because there's so many people. So you could blame me, someone who's literally trying to do it. It's not like I'm just getting this distributor access just to rip cards by myself for a good price. Like, that's not the case. I've been literally scraping by, trying to spend as much money as I possibly can at the distributor to make sure that my allocation continues going up, because the distributor gifted me a booster case of Surging Sparks because I was brand new. I didn't deserve it, but they were very, very generous. And then my allocation for Prismatic was not very much, but it was a little bit. And I kept on spending, and I kept on spending, and I kept on spending. And when the new prices came out after the allocated prices, I just bought and bought and bought. And then Journey Together comes out, and my allocation went up a little bit, and I actually, it exceeded what I was expecting to get from them. And now I'm starting to get emails and talking to my rep, and they're treating me really well, and I'm spending lots of money. And I'm hoping that my Destined Rivals allocation continues to increase a little bit. So there's people like me who are looking to increase their allocation, and there's still stores out there that are really having a hard time, and that really sucks. I hate seeing stores. The stores are like the cornerstone of the Pokemon hobby. It's where you go to hang out. It's where you go to make trades. It's where you go to play in the leagues. It's where so much stuff happens at your local game store. So seeing any of the good ones shut down is actually a really big tragedy in my mind. But I don't know what to do about it. And I guess the other part of this inevitable ruin piece is that I think we're just going to see more and more of it, because why would an LGS store, that's like a medium-sized store, it's hard for them to succeed when there's online-only retailers, people like me, and maybe I'm willing to take more of the blame, or maybe I should take more of the blame than I am right now. But I don't have the overhead. Like, this is just running in my house. Yeah, I pay for good internet so I can stream and record videos, and I have a nice computer setup so I can do that. But this house is operational regardless of if I'm doing this YouTube thing and if I'm doing the Pokemon thing. I don't have any employees. Yeah, my family helps me out, and we're all in it a little bit together to build this thing up. But I don't need to take a paycheck. I got a full-time job. You know what I mean? Whereas stores, well, even if you are willing to work as hard as you can, like, you're probably going to need at least an employee, right? And if you're working as hard as you can, you got to take a paycheck because you got to pay the bills. So how do those people compete with the online retailers who are doing it out of their basement or out of like a small office with very, very little overhead? And to be quite frank, let's call a spade a spade. Like, I probably have the ability through my YouTube channel and through my channels of selling to sell more product than lots of local game stores. That's the hard truth of the matter. And it kind of sucks because honestly, I sincerely love supporting local game stores, especially the good ones. But people are in it for the price. Now, we haven't even mentioned the fact that I don't need to take a lot of flack for my prices because I'm just doing it online and running it out of my house. When you're in a local game store, like, people are lining up for the releases and people are upset that they didn't get enough product. And then you're like, there's so many things that make running an actual location so much harder than just doing it online. It's kind of crazy. But what can you do? You got to be able to move product, but you got to be able to pay your bills too. So that's the tough part. Now, on to the second part of this video. Demand for Pokemon right now is, as you probably know, just like incredible. It really is. And I just continue to think about this more and more as my business has really transitioned more away from the live stream rip and ship and into local selling and online selling. But here's where I'm at. Like at the height, I'm talking about kind of, I don't know, Twilight Masquerade all the way through to Surging Sparks before the huge increase in money. And then that was kind of that was right at the climax, was Surging Sparks into Prismatic Evolution. I was selling like $4,000, $5,000. Some weeks I sold $6,000 worth of product on my Thursday night live streams. And I was going hard. Like, we were online from 4 p.m. Pacific time to 10:30 p.m. was the longest live stream I did. And like, on those nights, I just couldn't rip packs fast enough. People were demanding it so much. That's really died down. Now I'm opening like $1,000, $2,000 worth of product. So it's cut in half for sure, maybe even more so. And that's fine. That's all good. I see the attrition happening that people are, well, it's hard to spend that much money on Pokemon cards, maybe to not get anything. And just the fact is that it's more expensive. So maybe you used to buy a booster box every week or 10 packs every week, and now that costs you double. So you buy 10 packs every 2 weeks. Like, same amount of money you have, but it gets you a lot less product. So, hey, that makes a lot of sense. People are fed up with the scalping. People are fed up with the market price. People are fed up with a whole lot of things in the Pokemon space. However, to think that Pokemon is just on its way down and that demand is not going, or is going down and not going in a good direction, like, that's just wrong based on what I'm seeing. Like, I don't have omnipresent like power to see what's happening throughout the world, but what I'm seeing is I post stuff. I made a video about this not too long ago. I post stuff on Facebook Marketplace, trying to build a more local presence here where I live. And man, I'm getting so many clicks. I am making more sales per week than I've ever made before. And it's just local people coming to me because they can't find Pokemon at Walmart. They can't find Pokemon at GameStop. They can't find Pokemon at the local game stores, but they can find Pokemon where I'm at. And then they come into the office. And it's like, ooh, you have lots of stuff. This is pretty exciting. And all of a sudden, I'm in their contacts, and now I have a new customer. And my sales have literally been skyrocketing. You want to know the funny thing? Is lots of those people, they don't read Twitter on Pokemon. They don't read Reddit, Pokemon investing channels. They don't watch Pokemon investing channels. They just want to rip some Pokemon. and they got back into it for 151. Now they're getting back into it for a Team Rocket set, or they just start seeing how huge the Pokemon space is. So here's my take, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm just guessing. But it sure feels like for every person that takes a break from Pokemon because they're fed up with the price, there's got to be at least 2 or 3 that are coming into the hobby, and it's like, oh, the price is $9 a pack, Canadian? That seems normal. Okay, sounds good. Like, the conversations I have with people are just, oh man, I'm so excited that you had this Pokemon stuff. Can't wait to rip into this. It's not, can you do so much better on the price? Like, obviously there's some people like that, but the average conversation or the average interaction that I'm having with people, not even remotely close to that. They're just literally thrilled that I have some Pokemon product that they can purchase and rip into. So the demand is sky high right now, and yet these stores can't make it. So where is it going to go in the future? It sure feels like stores, especially the small to medium ones, are in a world of hurt. Like, I don't say this to gloat at all, but I do say this as like to prove my point. I am 95% sure that my allocation for Journey Together was bigger than any other store in the city I live in. The city I live in is not big. There's not a lot of local game stores, but I'm pretty sure I got more allocation than anyone else. What are you going to do? You could blame me, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm working my butt off trying to make this thing happen because I love Pokemon and I love the interactions that I get to have with people, and I love opening Pokemon. Like, all of the things. I love Pokemon. It's a passion for me. So why wouldn't I continue trying to grow that thing where, I don't know, just kind of sucks. Sucks the way it is. I don't know. Who are you blaming me? Are you blaming others? It is what it is. There's just a ton of people really enjoying the Pokemon space right now. So that's my hope. I don't know if I made any points. I don't know if I made any sense. I hate seeing local game stores shut down. So make sure to go out and support if you can. And I don't know, let me know what you think. What's the Pokemon space like moving forward? Honestly, it's not going anywhere anytime soon, but there is going to be some bad things. It might get worse before it gets better, as Dungeon Crawler Carl says. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, and I'll see you soon. Peace!